Fala, figura! Você vai assistir agora a um podcast com a história da Sara. Em apenas 30 minutos você aprende mais inglês do que em um mês inteiro de escola tradicional, sozinho, só curtindo aquele perrengue épico que quase acabou com ela. 2 apresentadores falando 100% inglês, sotaque real, gírias do dia a dia e legendas em inglês mais português para você não perder nada e turbinar o listening de uma vez. E tem mais! Mais de 200 palavras dessa história já estão nos shorts do canal para você maratonar e fixar tudo. Se você assistir essa história completa e não sentiu o inglês melhorar, pode me chamar de mentiroso nos comentários. É só apertar play agora e deixar o inglês entrar de vez na cabeça. Bora, figura! It's time!
Welcome back to the deep dive. Our mission today is a little bit unusual, but I think it's critically important for anyone looking to really level up their professional English. We're going to treat a high-stakes story, the story of Sarah's presentation crisis, as our curriculum.
Exactly. We're turning what is essentially a gripping professional drama into a masterclass on advanced vocabulary, high-stakes idioms.
And even some key grammar points.
Right. We have Sarah's crisis story as our source material, and we're just going to pause as we go, analyze the language she uses, and, connect the dots directly to advanced English fluency.
So the goal isn't just comprehension.
Not at all. This approach is about moving from simple comprehension to true vocabulary acquisition.
So our goal for you, the ambitious learner, is to get beyond just understanding what happened to Sarah.
Right.
We want you to really internalize these power verbs, the intense adjectives, and, all the sophisticated phrasing that's used to describe these high-pressure situations.
So you can actually deploy them
Yeah.
accurately in your own professional life.
Exactly.
So, as we begin, here's a quick prompt for you, something to kind of focus on as you listen.
Okay.
What is one word or phrase you currently struggle with when you try to describe high-pressure professional situations in English? Just keep that in your mind.
Because Sarah's story is about to give you some really robust, sophisticated solutions.
It really is.
Okay, let's unpack this opening, because the very first sentence just sets the intensity level immediately. It uses this powerful tool of contrast.
It really does.
The story starts by establishing a routine baseline. The morning started like any other, quiet and routine, and then the pivot. But for Sarah, it was poised to be anything but ordinary.
That word ordinary is so crucial right there.
Why that word specifically?
Because it gives weight to everything that follows. It defines the norm, the baseline. But the key phrase is poised to be anything but ordinary.
Poised. I like that word. It's much more formal than just ready.
So much more.
Yeah.
When you say something is poised, you're indicating that it's balanced, prepared, almost waiting to execute a specific action.
So it suggests this moment of impending significance.
Exactly. It's all about expectation and balance. You wouldn't say, my coffee is poised to be hot. It just doesn't work.
Right.
You'd use it for these major strategic moments, like in a business report you might read. The market is poised for significant restructuring.
Or our new product is poised to redefine the sector.
Precisely. It signals that all the conditions are in place for something monumental to happen, whether that's success or, as we'll see with Sarah, a complete disaster.
And the reason this day was so extraordinary, it marked the culmination of weeks, even months, of intense effort.
Culmination is such a potent word in a career context.
It really elevates the stakes beyond just a standard meeting, doesn't it?
It does. Culmination refers to the highest or final or decisive point of a very long process. It implies this long-determined buildup that results in a final delivery.
I know we talked about the difference between climax and culmination. Can you break that down for us?
Yeah, that's a really important distinction. A climax is typically the most exciting point of a story, of a plot.
Okay.
But culmination strictly implies the successful completion, the realization of goals that were achieved through persistent, measured effort.
So if I were in a project debrief, I'd use culmination to talk about the final product delivery. But maybe climax to describe that moment we hit the deadline after, a 72-hour coding marathon.
That's a perfect way to think about it, yes.
Yeah.
Culmination frames the final achievement as the logical, deserved outcome of all the work.
It emphasizes that this presentation wasn't just important.
No, it was the sum total of her recent professional existence.
And that preparation is described so well with one of the most expressive idioms for dedication. She had poured her heart and soul into every single slide.
I love that phrase. It's not just working hard. This is total commitment. It's almost an obsession.
Absolutely. The idiom poured her heart and soul into is so intensive.
It means she invested her deepest emotional energy, her intellectual capacity, her personal conviction into the project.
So the output isn't just a professional obligation, it reflects personal passion.
That's it. Saying she worked very hard just misses all of that emotional intensity.
I wonder, though, is this idiom ever too hyperbolic, say, for a formal quarterly report? Or is it more for descriptive internal communication?
That's a great question about register. And you're right. In really formal documents, you might prefer something like, she invested heavily in the project's success.
Or demonstrated unwavering commitment?
Exactly. But if you're communicating the impact of a team member's effort, poured her heart and soul into, it's just unmatched for conveying that emotional buy-in.
Right.
And remember, you can use it outside of work, too. He poured his heart and soul into training for the marathon. It just denotes total, consuming dedication.
So moving from that dedication to the execution of the final details, we read that she had been meticulously fine-tuning every word. Let's break down that powerful adverb-verb pairing.
Okay, so first, the adverb meticulously. It means doing something with extreme care and really precise attention to every little detail.
It's a lot stronger than just carefully.
Oh, much stronger. When you're meticulous, you are systematically examining every single part. And then you couple that with the verb phrase fine-tuning.
Which means making those tiny, precise adjustments.
Right, to achieve the best possible performance.
So if I just checked a document, that's being careful. But if I was meticulously fine-tuning it, I was probably adjusting the font kerning and the phrasing and the data citations until they were perfect.
Precisely. That combination signals a kind of professional excellence, this drive for perfection. Sarah wasn't just reviewing, she was polishing until every single element is shown.
The source material also gives us a classic idiom for that level of effort. Just last night, she had burned the midnight oil. That is a must-have phrase for any professional English toolkit.
It is essential. And it's so evocative of sacrifice. Burning the midnight oil means working late into the night.
It comes from a literal place, right?
Yes, from a time before electric light, when people had to use oil lamps to work after dark. Culturally, it signifies this voluntary dedication, a conscious sacrifice of sleep to meet a deadline or achieve perfection.
But let me ask a critical question here, based on, the modern professional world. Is this idiom becoming a little bit cliché? Or does it sometimes risk suggesting poor time management instead of dedication?
That is the nuance we need to talk about.
Yeah.
The image is powerful, but you are right. In some corporate cultures, always burning the midnight oil can imply a lack of efficiency.
Or poor planning.
Exactly. If you want to convey dedication without that hint of exhaustion, you might say something like, she went the extra mile, or she worked tirelessly.
Okay.
But Sarah's story uses it perfectly to emphasize the sheer physical effort she put in right before the presentation.
And all of that work led to this intense emotional state, described with a contrasting pair of adjectives, a peculiar blend of utter exhaustion and bubbling excitement.
This is just expert writing for emotional amplification. Let's look at the intensifier first. Utter exhaustion. The adjective utter means complete or absolute.
So it's much stronger than very tired.
Way stronger. It implies a total physical drain. And then you have bubbling excitement. The verb bubbling just personifies the excitement as something rising up, ready to spill over.
And the juxtaposition is what makes it so powerful. Total physical drain versus this rising emotional energy.
Exactly. It gives us a very nuanced, complicated view of Sarah right before the crisis hits. It demonstrates a state of high tension.
That really sets the scene. Now, as the narrative shifts to the day itself, the language also shifts to reflect all that prior action. And that brings us to a key grammatical point here. The use of the past perfect tense.
Yes, this is a vital grammar nugget for mastering complex narratives. Notice the structure. She had burned the midnight oil. She had poured her heart and soul.
So that's the had plus the past participle form of the verb.
Correct. The past perfect is used to describe an action that was completed before another past action in the main narrative timeline.
Okay, so the morning crisis, that's the main timeline in the simple past. But all the preparation, the pouring and the burning, that all happened before she even got to the office. So the past perfect clarifies the sequence.
It's like a linguistic GPS for time. It establishes that critical prior action giving context to her present state. It shows cause and effect.
Let's apply that to Sarah. She felt a sense of confident readiness because she had meticulously fine-tuned the slides.
Precisely. And that feeling is described so well. A sense of confident readiness settled over her. I love that phrase, settled over.
It's not just that she felt ready.
No, it's that the feeling itself descended and covered her, suggesting this quiet, deep certainty. She was settled, ready, and utterly confident.
Which is, of course, the exact moment the universe decides to intervene. And that confidence, well, it couldn't last, could it?
Not in this story.
Let's shift from the language of preparation into the sounds of impending chaos. It starts with her efficiency. She has a purposeful stride and a meticulously simple plan.
We're seeing the vocabulary for peak professional efficiency right before the crash. A purposeful stride. That means she's walking with clear intention, with focus.
No hesitation.
None. And her plan was meticulously simple, meaning that simplicity wasn't an accident. It was engineered for maximum efficiency.
But then the chaos starts. The moment she presses the power button on her trusty, ever-reliable laptop.
And the shift is immediate. It's signaled by sound and movement. The laptop word to life, which is a great descriptive verb, connecting a specific sound to the technology waking up.
But then something felt undeniably off.
That phrase, undeniably off, is wonderfully descriptive, isn't it?
It's colloquial, but it just perfectly captures that nagging feeling.
Exactly. It describes that intuitive sense that something fundamental is wrong, even if you can't explain it yet.
And the problem is framed immediately in terms of time pressure. The startup was dragging, and the loading screen was taking an eternity to resolve.
These are essential terms for describing digital delays. Dragging means moving slowly, with difficulty.
And taking an eternity is obviously hyperbole.
A massive exaggeration, yes.
Right.
But it's vital because it reflects Sarah's subjective experience. In that high-stakes moment, every second feels like an age.
And as this delay happens, we start to see the internal worry captured by this visceral metaphor. A tiny, cold knot of worry began to tighten in her stomach.
This is such a classic physiological description of anxiety. English is full of these expressions. We have butterflies for nervousness.
Right.
But a knot of worry is tighter. It's more restrictive. It suggests an escalating, persistent stress. And the language shows it's growing. It began to tighten.
She tries to fight it, though. She tries to dismiss the growing unease. Let's focus on that vocabulary of internal resistance.
That's a great pair of words. To dismiss something is to push it away, to reject it from consideration. You're actively choosing not to worry.
And the unease.
Unease is that sense of nervousness that something unpleasant is about to happen. But the adjective growing tells us she's losing this internal battle. The anxiety is winning.
Then we get the catastrophic moment. The cursor transforms into a perpetually spinning blue circle, mocking her with its endless rotation. The personification there is just incredible.
It really elevates the computer from being a tool to an active antagonist, an enemy.
Perpetually spinning is a great descriptor.
It is. Perpetually means continuing forever, emphasizing the never-ending nature of that loading icon.
But the key verb is mocking. Why is that so much more effective than just saying the circle was stuck?
Because to mock is to ridicule, to tease, to actively make fun of someone. It gives the circle this intentional, negative action.
So it's not just a technical failure anymore.
No, it's delivering a deliberate message of hostility. It perfectly captures that psychological feeling that the machine is actively conspiring against you.
And the finale is horrifying. The screen flickered erratically and then went completely, utterly black. Those adverbs are so intense.
The sheer intensity. Erratic means unpredictable, irregular, unstable. The screen isn't just blinking, it's convulsing.
And then completely, utterly black.
Using both intensifiers, completely and utterly, is this final, powerful rhetorical flourish. It emphasizes the totality, the finality of the failure. There is no coming back from this.
All her work locked away behind a dark, unforgiving screen. That adjective, unforgiving, is so powerful.
It's the ultimate personification of the failure. An unforgiving person or object is harsh. It shows no mercy.
So the screen itself refuses to give her a second chance.
Exactly. The fate of her presentation is sealed by this cold, black barrier.
We have all been there. That feeling of powerlessness when the infrastructure you depend on just fails.
That shared experience is why this story resonates so deeply. The language gives us a way to express that deep-seated anxiety.
Okay, so at this exact moment, if you were Sarah facing that black screen, what English phrase would you formulate to politely but firmly describe this to a manager.
That's a great focus prompt. Instead of, a curse word,
Right, professionally.
you might say something like, "Unfortunately, my primary system has experienced unexpected adversity and has stubbornly declined to boot up."
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
But Sarah's reaction is more internal, right? She's whispering, no, 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 this can't be happening, with a frantic tremor in her words.
Yes, that adjective frantic shows her composure is already dissolving into panic.
So that total failure forces this immediate, extreme emotional reaction described with that amazing hyperbole. Her heart didn't just leap, it practically somersaulted into her throat.
Hyperbole is the engine of descriptive English for extreme emotion, and this is just a superb example.
A somersault is a full rotation.
Exactly. Her reaction wasn't a simple jump, a leap. It was a violent inverted rotation, a total shock to her system. It has so much more impact than just saying she was terrified.
It perfectly captures that physical sensation of being blindsided. And immediately after, the panic becomes this massive force. A wave of panic, cold and sharp, washed over her, chilling her to the bone.
So we've moved from the internal, chronic stress, that knot, to the sudden acute shock, the wave.
Right.
Fear is often described with liquid imagery. A wave suggests it arrived suddenly, completely covering her, giving her no time to think.
And then the idiom, chilling her to the bone.
A must-have idiom. It means to cause a deeply profound or penetrating sensation of cold or fear. It's immobilizing. She is physically and emotionally frozen by panic.
She tries to restart the laptop, but the machine just makes a sad, defeated clicking sound.
And it's stubbornly declined to boot up. The language just keeps anthropomorphizing the machine's failure.
That adverb stubbornly is key.
Yes, stubbornly means showing this determined resistance to change. The machine is actively fighting her. This reinforces the absolute nightmare status of the situation.
And the technical failure, that mournful click, is completely intertwined with her emotional state, this sinking feeling engulfing her.
They're seamlessly blended. A mournful click suggests sorrow, and the sinking feeling engulfing her uses that powerful verb engulfing, swallowing, or surrounding completely.
She's drowning in despair.
Exactly. And it's at that moment of total immersion that she shifts from paralysis to frenzied action. She begins rummaging through her desk drawers with a frantic energy.
Let's talk about rummaging.
It's a highly specific verb. It means searching in a disordered, hurried, and often noisy way.
It's the opposite of her meticulously simple plan from earlier.
A complete contrast. Searching is neutral. Rummaging implies desperation and messiness.
And amid this frantic search, a memory sparks. A breakthrough. A faint glimmer of hope.
A fragile flicker of hope ignited deep within her.
We see that dual metaphor of light, glimmer, and flicker.
Both of those use light metaphors to describe how vulnerable this new possibility is. The hope is not strong. It's faint and fragile. It could be extinguished so easily.
And the source of this hope is a USB drive, described with this wonderful layering of adjectives. Small, unassuming, somewhat ancient-looking USB drive.
The language reinforces the idea that salvation is often found in the most unexpected places.
Let's break down those adjectives. Unassuming.
It means modest or unpretentious. It doesn't look important or powerful, which heightens the surprise that it might be her salvation.
And somewhat ancient-looking gives it texture.
It does. Stacking these adjectives creates such a vivid image of this forgotten object suddenly gaining life-saving importance. It emphasizes that professional success often relies on that tiny, unassuming backup.
So she's thinking, what if? And her mind is racing.
Her thoughts are moving extremely quickly and chaotically. A classic descriptor for adrenaline-fueled problem-solving.
And that shift gives us the momentum to move into the final, high-stakes technical connection phase. As Sarah attempts this fix, we see the physical signs of stress. With hands that felt strangely numb and clumsy, she connected the drive, doing it with bated breath.
The physical description here shows the somatic effects of that panic. Numb and clumsy. Her fine motor skills are disrupted by the adrenaline.
And that makes the delicate technical connection even harder.
For sure. And the idiom with bated breath is crucial for conveying that anticipation.
I sometimes hear people say, baited with an I. Let's clarify that.
Excellent point. It's baited, B-A-T-E-D. It's an old contraction of abated, which means held back or restrained.
So you're literally holding your breath.
Exactly. Holding your breath due to intense anticipation, often mixed with fear or excitement. It just perfectly captures that moment of silent tension.
And when it connects, the emotional payoff is huge. To her immense relief, it connected, and the files populated her screen.
Immense relief. Such a strong adjective. And populated her screen is a great example of precise technical vocabulary used dynamically.
The files are flooding the screen.
Right, appearing wholesale. And she finds it. A beacon in her digital storm. The exact file, miraculously, dated just last night.
What a great metaphor. A beacon is a guiding light.
Right, it represents guidance and safety amidst the technological chaos, the digital storm, and miraculously highlights how unexpected and unlikely this saving grace really was.
But, as is tradition in any corporate crisis story, her moment of triumph was short-lived.
An excellent compound adjective to internalize, short-lived, meaning lasting for only a brief period. It immediately sets up the next hurdle.
And the reason? The file was enormous, a beast of a presentation.
Let's talk about that informal use of beast.
Yeah.
Calling the presentation a beast is a strong, informal way to say something is formidable, large, or exceptionally challenging to handle. It instantly conveys the massive file size.
So the file itself becomes the next monster she has to overcome.
Exactly. And now the digital delay returns, magnified. The phone's internet is struggling, stubbornly refusing to cooperate, and the progress bar becomes a cruel taunt.
Another great piece of personification. A taunt is an insult.
Right. It feels like the progress bar is being slow on purpose just to mock her. The phone is stubbornly refusing to cooperate, echoing the laptop's earlier refusal.
And the agonizing time pressure comes back, amplified. Each agonizing second stretched into what felt like an eternity.
Again, powerful hyperbole, but now layered with the adjective agonizing.
Causing extreme suffering.
Yes, applying it to the word second conveys that intense subjective experience of time slowing down under stress. This is the peak of the crisis tension.
And her body is reacting. Beads of cold sweat pricked her forehead, trailing down her temples.
That vocabulary gives us a clear physical sign of the adrenaline peak. The verb pricked suggests the tiny, sharp sensation of sweat forming. It's so much more evocative than just saying she was sweating.
We've covered so much here. Before we get to the resolution, I just want to pause and reinforce the value of this kind of contextual learning.
Absolutely.
When you link a dynamic story like this to vocabulary, your brain retains it because it's tied to strong emotional and visual context.
It really is. Think about the phrases you've added to your toolkit already. Maybe the perpetually spinning blue circle or being chilled to the bone.
So if you are finding these specific linguistic breakdowns helpful and you're enjoying this deep dive, please take a moment to like this deep dive. Subscribe to our channel for more contextual stories and leave a comment below with your favorite descriptive phrase we've covered so far.
We really do love seeing which vocabulary resonates most with all of you.
Okay, so against all odds, the download finally progresses. And we get this moment of victory, described with such glorious timing, gloriously, with just 3 precious minutes to spare.
That adverb gloriously is so celebratory. And to spare is excellent practical language for timing. It means remaining or left over.
And a notification popped up.
Or perfect phrasal verb. Pop up means to appear suddenly or unexpectedly on a screen.
The relief is massive, but again, amplified by strong vocabulary. An overwhelming wave of pure, unadulterated relief washed over her.
We saw the wave metaphor for panic earlier, and now it's used for relief. But the pinnacle here is unadulterated.
Meaning pure, unspoiled.
Not mixed with any other feeling. It emphasizes that this relief was total, absolute, untainted by any lingering worry or doubt.
Before she joins the meeting, she does this rapid self-regulation process. She took a deep, steadying breath, forced herself to compose her racing thoughts, and acted with newfound resolve.
These are critical action verbs for professional resilience. A steadying breath is one you take specifically to calm yourself down.
And compose her racing thoughts.
That means pulling them together, quieting them, organizing them. It's mental discipline in action, bringing order back to the internal chaos.
Which results in newfound resolve.
Yes. Resolve is a firm determination. And newfound indicates this determination was just acquired, born directly from surviving the crisis. She shifts from frantic energy to disciplined focus.
She joins the meeting and offers a confident, albeit slightly shaky, smile.
The conjunction albeit is formal and so valuable for nuance, it just means although or even though.
So it lets her acknowledge the imperfection, the shaky smile, while focusing on the overall positive, the confident smile.
Exactly. It's a highly professional way to make a concession. And despite the adrenaline still coursing through her veins, her voice was remarkably clear and steady.
And the presentation itself, it went flawlessly.
Her colleagues listened attentively and asked insightful questions. These adverbs and adjectives are essential for positive professional feedback.
Flawlessly means perfectly. Attentively means with focused attention.
And insightful questions are ones that show a deep and accurate understanding of the subject. It confirms the audience was engaged and impressed.
And the boss, Mr. Henderson, nodded approvingly, his face breaking into a genuine smile.
Those verbs capture that positive feedback so clearly. A genuine smile is sincere. It's authentic recognition of her success.
The story concludes with her reflection. She learned invaluable lessons about resilience in the face of unexpected adversity.
Those three terms, invaluable, resilience, and adversity, they just encapsulate the entire moral of the story. Invaluable means its value cannot be measured.
And resilience is that capacity to recover quickly from difficulties.
Bounce back. And unexpected adversity is the formal term for sudden misfortune or hardship. It's a bit broader than hardship, and it's usually the preferred term in a professional report.
And maybe the most important lesson of all, how to maintain a calm demeanor when everything around you seems to be falling apart.
Demeanor is a wonderful formal noun. It means your outward behavior or bearing. It's about maintaining that composed, steady, professional appearance no matter what's happening internally.
So the profound lesson from that morning stuck with her forever.
Yes, profound means very great or intense, and the phrasal verb stuck with her means the lesson remained with her, became a permanent piece of professional wisdom.
This whole story is just a masterclass. So think about a time you had to use a plan B. What English phrases would you use now to describe your moment of newfound clarity? Practice integrating those words, unadulterated, meticulously, resolved to elevate your own stories. What a deep dive that was. We started with one story and extracted this phenomenal linguistic toolkit for describing high-stakes situations.
We really did. We covered idioms of commitment like poured her heart and soul into and burned the midnight oil.
We looked at the vocabulary of technological failure and psychological stress. Her heart practically somersaulted into her throat, the perpetually spinning blue circle,
And the cold sweat that pricked her forehead.
and the triumph was just as rich, giving us phrases for success and self-control like the unadulterated relief and the need to maintain a calm demeanor.
Learning this language in context really ensures that you don't just know the definition. You instinctively understand the emotional register and the correct situation to use these powerful phrases.
And the conclusion of Sarah's story gave us one final essential term. She always ensured she had at least 3 robust backups.
That is the ultimate takeaway for professional preparedness.
Robust means strong, vigorous, unlikely to fail.
And this isn't just about hard drives. It's about having robust backups for your vocabulary and strategies when your core language skills feel like they're failing under pressure.
You need a plan B, a plan C, and the demeanor to deploy them flawlessly.
So if you internalize the language today, make sure you take a moment to like this deep dive, subscribe for more stories like this, and leave a comment telling us the single most valuable phrase you learned today.
We look forward to seeing the powerful new language you plan to integrate into your professional life. And here's the provocative thought we'll leave you with, building on the source material. If the greatest challenges reveal our strengths, what new word or expression will you proactively seek out this week to prepare your language skills for the next digital storm you face?
Stay proactive, stay curious.
And we'll catch you on the next deep dive.
Pronto, figura! Agora você já sabe exatamente como esse canal vai transformar o seu inglês. Mas só funciona se você começar agora. Então faz o seguinte, clica no botão inscrever, é de graça, ativa o sininho para não perder nenhuma história, deixa aqui embaixo, Steve, tô dentro, para eu saber que você tá nessa comigo. E já emenda na história da Sara, que tá no card e na descrição, porque o seu Armendo já tá com o café na mão esperando você. Promessa de Steve, mais uma vez, maratona as histórias e os podcasts daqui. E se em 30 dias o seu inglês não tiver dado um salto gigante, pode vir aqui me cobrar que eu pago um café para você. Bora, figura! O inglês da sua vida tá a um play de distância. Te vejo lá dentro. Falou?